Okay, so good day. We will be discussing about Chapter 6, Debt Securities Markets. So, what do we know about debt security markets? So, ilan sa inyo yung mga nag-apply ng credit card or may mga magulang na may mortgage para sa bahay? So, siguro naman, may mga kakilala tayo, pwedeng relatives na may mga ganun na like credit cards or mortgages. So, yun na ay part na ng financial markets, specifically yung debt market na i-discuss ko today. So, okay, next one. Okay. Mhm. Ayan. So, let me start sa basics. So, what's the big picture about financial markets? So, financial markets, yun yung basically na marketplace ng pera. Di ba na-discuss na natin yun prior, mga ibang chapters before. So, think of it like the malls that we frequent, like sa mall na may mga stores na nagbebenta ng different things. So, sa financial markets, what's being traded ay funds or money itself. So of course, there are two main types of markets. We have money markets, na yun yung pang short-term transactions, less than 1 year. For example, if nag-loan kayo for your tuition for the semester, yun yung under siya ng money markets. Pag sa capital markets, ito yung pang long-term, which is more than 1 year. Example niyan, yung mga mortgages para sa bahay, which will take about 15 to 25 years to pay. So, ano yung important distinction? May dalawang bagay na pwedeng i-trade. Number one is yung debt, number two is yung equity. So, debt, syempre yun yung utang. Of course, kailangan mong bayaran ng principal plus interest. So, si equity, like stocks, ikaw ay nagiging part ng company. So, for this topic, we will be focusing on the debt specifically. So, we now move on to debt instruments. Okay. So ano bang exactly ang debt instrument? So ito yung isang document, paper or electronic na nagpapakita na merong utang ang isang party sa iba at may legal agreement kung paano ito babayaran. So for example, kung nag-apply kayo ng car loan sa BDO, BPI or Metrobank, bibigyan kayo ng documentation. Yun yung debt instrument. Kung meron man kayong parang mortgage sa bahay, yung mortgage contract, yun yung debt instrument din. Okay? So we have two critical functions ng debt instrument. We have number one is legal enforceability and number two is transferability. Ano naman yung legal enforceability? Yung pera na niloan ninyo ay legally protected. So kung hindi kayo magbabayad, pwedeng kasuhan kayo or issue kayo ng bangko. Yun yung power ng written contract. So it is legally binding. Yung pangalawa naman is transferability. So ang debt na ito ay pwedeng i-transfer or i-trade. For example, kung nag-utang ka sa BDO sa ibang bank para makakuha ng pera, pwede nilang i-sell ang loan na ito sa iba pang financial institutions. So, nagbibigay siya ng liquidity, meaning madali itong i-convert sa cash. So, important note, not all debt instruments ay equally tradable. Ang payday loan na alam ninyo ay mahirap i-trade. Pero yung government bonds, that's easy to trade. Ayan. Okay, moving on. Okay. Now we have the types of debt instruments, the short term and the long term. Okay. So for the short term, less than 1 year. So examples would be credit card bills, installment sa phone, ayan. Under corporate or government, examples niyan yung mga treasury bills and working capital loans. For long term, this is more than a year. So examples would be mortgages or car loans. And for businesses and government, we have the corporate bonds or government bonds. So example, PSA, meron din daw siyang treasury bills na 91 days or 182 days. That is under short term. So we have also Philippine government bonds. Merong 10 years or 20 years na maturity. So papasok siya sa long term. And BPO companies ay nag-i-issue din ng bonds to raise money for expansion. Ayan. So, debt securities. Okay. Ano ba? All debt securities are debt instruments, pero not all debt instruments are debt securities. So, ang analogy niyan, lahat ng credit cards ay financial products, pero hindi lahat ay Visa card. Parang ganon. So, ano nga ba yung debt security? So, ito ay debt instrument na negotiable at tradable sa market. May clear terms such as amount, interest rate, and maturity date at merong monetary value na pwedeng ibenta or bilhin anytime. So, example would be government bonds like debt security. Government bond is a debt security which is pwede mo siyang i-trade sa stock exchange. Pero yung payday loan, debt instrument lang siya, hindi siya security. Kasi mahirap siyang i-trade. So bakit kailangan to? Why is this important? Because kung debt security ito, pwede kayong bumili at magbenta, kaya merong flexibility. So sa government bonds sa Philippines ay actively traded sa PSE or Philippine Stock Exchange. So tandaan niyo yan. Next. Now we have types of debt security. So we have the money market securities and the capital market securities. Let's take a look at the money market security. We have treasury bills and certificate of deposits. So under the treasury bills are issued by the government. It is sold at a discount, kaya mas mura siya kaysa sa par value. Like, example, bumili kayo ng T-bill for 99,000 pesos. Yung maturity value is 100,000 pesos. Ang 1,000 peso difference ay ang interest or return ninyo. So, usually, ginagamit ito ng mga conservative investors or companies looking for safe short-term investment. Dito naman sa certificate of deposits, these are issued by the banks and it has a fixed interest rate. For example, yung BDO na certificate of deposit, magde-deposit kayo ng 100,000 pesos for 6 months. So makakakuha kayo ng guaranteed interest rate which may be papatak na ng mga 3 to 4% annually. Although medyo mababa pero it's very safe and low risk. Ayan. And for capital market securities, and medium term debt, about 2 to 5 years usually. Okay, so ayan, more than a year. So regular coupon payment which has a periodic interest. Yun yung notes. Okay? Sa bonds naman, ito yung long-term debt instrument which is 5 plus years. It is also issued by the governments at corporations with regular interest payments and repayment of full amount. There should be a repayment of full amount at maturity. So, for example, Philippine government issued a 10-year, 20-year bonds. Like Meralco, PLDT, Jollibee ay nag-issue ng corporate bonds to raise capital. So kung bumili kayo ng PLDT bond na 10,000 pesos par value with 5% coupon rate, makakakuha kayo ng 500 pesos na interest per year for however many years. Ngayon. So we also have mortgage-backed securities. So ito yung pool ng mortgages gaya ng home loans. As homeowners pay their mortgages, investors ay nakakatanggap din ng share. So it's a bit complex but it is a growing market in the Philippines. Yan. Hold on. Okay. Okay, so the golden rule in investing. Okay. So the riskier the bond, the higher the interest rate or return yield. Why? Investors demand compensation for taking risk. So kung mas mataas yung risk na mawawala sa pera, syempre mas gusto nila ng higher return as compensation. So, imagine two companies. For example, si Jollibee, stable na siya. So, low risk yung risk of default siya. Samantalang si startup company X, medyo baguhan and uncertain yung future. So, yung bond ni Jollibee, pwedeng ipatak siya ng 3% interest rate lang. Samantalang si startup bond, ah malaki yung interest, like 10%, mga ganyan. So, bakit? Kasi investing sa startup ay very risky. So, pwede talagang mabankrupt. Of course, syempre, si investors, kailangan mag-demand ng mas mataas na return. Kasi nga risky, di ba? The higher the risk, the higher the return kanyo dyan sa mantra yung mga financial managers. Okay. So, rating system na discuss natin ito nung kahapon sa ating topic. We have Moody's and Standard and Poor. Meron siyang AAA, AA, triple B, and below triple B. Diba? Nire-rank nila yon. Anyway, moving on now to the bond market. So where exactly does all this trading happen? Siyempre, papatak siya sa bond market or debt securities market. So anong nangyayari dito? Companies at government issue new bonds. Nasabi na natin yan, primary market. And then investors buy and sell existing bonds, which is in the secondary market. The goal is to transfer the capital mula sa savers na may extra money to the borrowers who need money for projects. So, example, the company needs 1 billion pesos para sa bagong factory. So, mag-i-issue siya ng bonds sa primary market. So, kapag naka-issue na siya, yung mga investors, bibilin yon and pwede i-trade yung mga bonds na yon sa secondary market or sa stock exchange. So, yung mga participants dito, sino government, like Philippine government, barangays, LGUs, example, corporations like BPO companies, manufacturers, and retail, institutional investors such as insurance companies, pension funds, banks, and individual investors like your parents kung meron silang bonds. Now, moving on to the type of bonds. So, corporate bonds, it is issued by the companies for the purpose of raising capital for expansion and operations. So example, PLDT bonds or Ayala bonds, Meralco bonds would issue this one. For the government bonds, it is issued by the national government and the purpose is to fund government projects or especially with those with budget deficits. So examples would be, of course, Philippine government bonds. For the municipal bonds, these are issued by the local government, like cities and municipalities. The purpose is to fund local projects. Examples would be Metro Manila bond issuance. For mortgage bonds, this is issued by the real estate or banks. And the purpose is back pools of mortgages. And examples would be housing loans with security. And we also have asset-backed bonds. This is issued by the financial institutions. And the purpose is to back pools of loans and receivables. So examples would be credit card receivables securitized. And CDOs or collateralized debt obligation. This is being issued, CDO yon. This is being issued by investment banks. And the purpose is to package and re-slice other bands. So it is more advanced and complex naman itong CDO na to. So a CDO in the financial market stands for collateralized debt obligation. So it's a complex structured finance product that pulls together various types of debt, such as corporate bonds, bank loans, mortgages, or credit card debt, and repackages them into individual slices called tranches to be sold to investors. So siya yung parang nagpo-pull together ng lahat-lahat ng financial products. Tapos, once na na-pull, na-gather niya lahat, ini-slice niya into tranches, tapos per slice, yun yung binibenta niya sa mga investors. Yun yung CDO. Okay. Now we have the characteristics of bonds. So we have three main characteristics, and this is kind of crucial. You have to understand this one. Okay. Um, okay, hold on. Ayan. So the first one is coupon rate. Second is maturity date. Third is market price. So for the coupon rate, fixed interest rate, ito yung fixed interest rate na babayaran ng issuer sa bondholder regularly, usually semi-annually. So for example, yung bond ay 1,000 pesos par value and merong 5% coupon rate. Annual coupon payment is 1,000 pesos times 5% is equal to 50 pesos per year or 25 every 6 months. So ito yung fixed. So whether interest rates go up or down, ang coupon ay pareho. Now we have also the maturity date, yung date na babayaran ng full face value ng bond. Ang purchase price ay different sa face or par value. So example, the face value is 1,000 pesos. Maturity is 10 years from now. So sa year 10, makakatanggap kayo ng 1,000 pesos kahit bumili kayo ng 950 pesos. Yan. And market or current price, ito yung nag-change depende sa market conditions. So we have three scenarios. So number one, scenario one is a buying at par. Bibili na yung bibili is equal to face value. So market interest rate is equal to coupon rate. So example, bond with 5% coupon, market rates ay 5%. So bumili kayo ng 1,000 pesos. Buying at discount, mas mura kaysa face value. So market interest rates ay higher than coupon rate. For example, yung bond ay may 5% coupon, market rates ay 7%. Bumibili lang kayo ng 950 pesos para mag-adjust ang return. But you get full 1,000 pesos at maturity. Kasi nga, meron kang 50 pesos gain plus the coupons. So, when the interest rates go up, bond prices go down. So there is an inverse relationship. Why? Because new bonds are offering higher rates. So old bonds must be cheaper to compete. So scenario 3 would be buying at premium. So mas mahal kaysa sa face value. So the market interest rate ay lower than coupon rate. So example, bond with 5% coupon, market rates ay 3%. Bumibili kayo ng 1,050. Why? Because the 5% na makukuha nyo ay high compared to new bonds offering 3%. Okay. Moving on. Dito na tayo sa bond valuation. Siyempre, basahin nyo na lang yung formula. So, if you're offered a bond, paano nyo malalaman kung fair price ba ito or overpriced? So, ito yung bond valuation sa inyo. So, tingnan nyo na lang, basahin nyo na lang yung formula. Bond value is equal to present value ng lahat ng coupon payments plus present value ng face value. So, imagine a bond. The par value is 1,000 pesos. The coupon rate is 10%. So, 100 pesos annual coupon. Maturity is 10 years. So, current market rate for similar bonds ay 9%. Question, magkano dapat ang fair value ng bond? So, of course, step 1, calculate the annual coupon. Ano to? Yun. Calculate annual coupon. Coupon is equal to 1,000 times 10% is equal to 100. Then use the valuation formula. So we need present value ng 100 pesos every year for 10 years plus present value ng 1,000 in year 10. All discounted at 9%. So using present value tables or calculators, the present value of coupons, 100 pesos times 6.4177 is equal to 641.77. Whereas the present value of face value is 424. So the total bond value is 1,064. So anong interpretation niyan? The bond par is equal to 1,000 pesos. But fair value is 1,064. So premium siya. Why? Because ang 10% ay higher than market rate na 9%, kaya valuable ang bond na ito. If may investor na willing magbenta ng 1,064.18, fair deal na yon. Okay? So if market is selling this bond at 1,050, bumili na kayo kasi it is undervalued. Yun. Yun yung practical implication niya. Okay. So next one. Non-treasury bonds and valuation. Sandali. Okay. Risk premium, ayan yung sa discount rate. Nawala na ako. Ayan. Going back, sorry for the delay, for the pause. Ayan, so we have two approaches to bond valuation. Okay, we have the traditional approach and the arbitrage-free valuation approach. So for approach one, which is the traditional approach, the concept is to use the same discount rate para sa lahat ng future cash flows. So the simple example is 10-year bond at 5% with 5% coupon. Market rate is 4%. So gagamitin ng 4% para discount sa lahat ng 10 years na payments. So it's just simple. Although it's simple, the disadvantage is that hindi masyadong accurate na 100% kasi nga yung rates ay pwedeng mag-change over time. Whereas for the arbitrage-free valuation approach, each coupon payment ay treated as separate zero coupon bond, each with its own discount rate. So why? Coupon sa year 1 ay different risk from coupon sa year 10. So they should have different discount rates. Okay? Ayan. In the real world scenario, professionals and investment banks yung gumagamit nito. Okay. Moving on. Now we move on to bonds with embedded options, which is kind of the complex stuff. So we have the callable bonds, putable bonds. We also have mortgage-backed securities. So for callable bonds, the issuer which is the company ay merong right to call back the bond before maturity. So examples would be, for example, PLDT issues 10-year bond pero may call option after 5 years. So when interest rates drop, yung PLDT pwedeng bumili back ng bond at lower rate. So it is kind of bad for investors kasi walang upside when rates drop. For the putable bonds naman, the bondholder ay merong right to put back the bond to issuer before maturity. So this is naman good for investors kasi they can escape if rates go up. And for the mortgage-backed securities, as homeowners pay mortgages, bonds pay down. So it is kind of uncertain, or it has an uncertain maturity date. So why is this complex? These options ay merong value. So bond valuation formula ay nag-change. So kailangan ng advanced models such as the lattice model and Monte Carlo simulation. So yung lattice models, it's like a decision tree ng interest rates. Whereas the Monte Carlo simulation, they have thousands ng scenarios para makita ang probability. Ayun. So, next. So, ayan, wrap up. So, let's summarize. Financial markets, platform kung saan nagtitrade. Debt instrument, contracts between borrower and lender. debt securities, debt instruments sa tradable market, bond market, the marketplace for these securities. Key characteristics nito ay coupon rate, maturity date, market price. Risk-return trade-off, higher risk, higher returns are needed. Bond valuation, calculating true fair value and advanced valuation, arbitrage-free approach, plus models for complex bonds. So, ayan ha. So, what is the relevance of this? Okay? In your life. So, for example, after college, maybe you have savings. So, pwede ninyong i-invest sa bonds, which is safer than stocks. So, of course, understanding bonds is part of financial literacy. And companies na mag-hire sa inyo ay may bond portfolios. So, it's also good na malalaman ninyo yun. And also, parents nyo ay baka mag-invest na rin sa mga bonds such as insurance or pension funds. Also, government bonds is a way for the government na mag-fund ng project. So, it's relevant to your daily life. So, okay, that's it. If you have any questions, paki-comment na lang dun sa stream ng Google Classroom. See you tomorrow.